My name is Ryan. I'm 32 years old, and I just returned home after serving nearly 2 years overseas with the U.S. Army. I'd been counting down the days to see my wife, Madison. She was everything to me before I left. We'd been married 5 years, and not a single day went by without her telling me how proud she was of me for serving. I held on to that during the hard days, her smile, her voice, and the way she used to laugh at my terrible jokes. I thought about her every single night in the desert, dreaming of home, dreaming of the life we'd continue once I was back. I even bought a gift for her on the way home, this handmade silver bracelet with her name etched into the inside. I imagined surprising her with it, maybe over dinner. Maybe we'd cry. Maybe we'd hold each other for hours. That's how it was supposed to go. But when I walked through that front door, everything changed. My boots hit the hardwood floor. The house smelled unfamiliar. There was a man's jacket on the couch, a pair of men's shoes by the door. I thought maybe it belonged to her brother or a friend helping out with something. But then I heard it, a giggle, hers, and then a deeper voice, one that wasn't mine, laughing with her from the upstairs bedroom. My heart dropped. I didn't want to believe what I was hearing. Not Madison, not my wife, not the woman who said she'd wait for me. I stepped quietly up the stairs, every step heavier than the last. The door was cracked open, and what I saw, I'll never forget it for the rest of my life. She was in bed with another man, shirtless, laughing, her hand on his chest like it belonged there. She didn't even notice me standing there until I cleared my throat. Her eyes shot wide. She screamed. The guy jumped out of bed, trying to grab his pants. I didn't say a word. I just turned around, walked down the stairs, and out of the house. That moment, my return from war, walking into the one place that should have felt safe and finding betrayal. I felt something inside me die. But something else was born too. A kind of cold fire. A quiet, burning need for justice. Not violence. Not yelling. But something she would never see coming. And that's when I started planning my revenge. Before I left, Madison and I had built a life together. The house, the joint account, the 2 cars, everything was in both our names. But I had been smart. Military life taught me to prepare for anything. So even before I deployed, I had quietly put some things in place in case anything ever went sideways. A separate bank account, a trusted friend back home with power of attorney, and a will. I went to stay with that friend, Caleb, after walking out. He was an old army buddy, and when I told him what happened, he just nodded and said, "Say the word, brother." I didn't want a scene. I didn't want to fight. I wanted Madison to feel the ground move beneath her feet without even realizing it was me who caused the quake. The next morning, I went to the bank. I quietly pulled out every dollar I had in our joint savings and transferred it into my private account. Madison didn't notice right away. She rarely checked that account. I left just enough to keep things looking normal for now. Next, I contacted our property attorney and asked for help transferring the house ownership to me only. Madison had signed a legal document before I left that gave me authority over all joint property if anything happened while I was deployed. Took a few strings to pull, but legally I was covered. By the end of the week, the house, the savings, and even the newer car were in my name. I left Madison with the older car, the one always breaking down. Caleb and I spent our nights planning every detail. I didn't want to just disappear. I wanted Madison to realize what she lost. I wanted her to wake up one morning and realize the man she'd betrayed wasn't just some lovesick soldier. He was smarter than she ever imagined. But before I could put the final part of my plan into action, something unexpected happened. I saw Madison at the grocery store. She looked rough, tired. Her hair was a mess, and she was arguing with the cashier over a declined card. I watched from a distance, hidden behind the shelves near the frozen foods. And that's when I saw it. The guy she cheated with, he was there too. He looked annoyed, like he didn't want to be there. He threw a crumpled 20 on the counter and stormed off, mumbling something I couldn't hear. Madison grabbed the groceries and chased after him. That's when I realized they were still together. But not happy. That wasn't part of my plan. But it made things even sweeter. The next day, I paid a visit to our family lawyer again. I wanted to make sure everything was airtight. I asked him to help me prepare the divorce papers, but not just any divorce. I wanted it to be surgical, fast, clean, and in my favor, and I didn't want her to see it coming. I waited 3 more days before dropping off the papers at our old house. She was still living there, clueless. I put the envelope right inside the mailbox, with a sticky note that said, "Check your account." That night, she called. 34 missed calls. I didn't answer, but the next day, she showed up at Caleb's house. I didn't even know how she found the address. She was banging on the door, screaming my name like a banshee. "Ryan, Ryan, we can talk about this." It wasn't what it looked like. I opened the door just enough to look her in the eye. That's when I said it, calm, cold, and final. "No, Madison. It's exactly what it looked like." Then I closed the door in her face. But that wasn't the end. Because a week later, I found out something that blew the whole thing wide open. Something Madison never meant for me to know. Something that would push this revenge story to a whole new level. And I wasn't ready for what came next. I couldn't sleep the night after she showed up screaming outside Caleb's house. Her voice kept echoing in my head. Desperate, panicked, fake. I knew she didn't regret cheating. She regretted getting caught. She regretted losing the comfort I provided. The house, the money, the stability. And now that it was gone, she wanted it back. But I wasn't the same man she married. The battlefield had changed me, and so had she. Still, there was something about her reaction, something that didn't sit right. Why was she that desperate? I knew she'd fallen on hard times with her new guy, but there was more to her panic. I felt it in my gut. That's when I made a call to someone I hadn't spoken to in a long time, Sean, Madison's cousin. We weren't close, but he always liked me more than her. He even came to our wedding, sat beside my family, and told me back then, "If she ever does you dirty, call me." So I did. We met up at a small diner, neutral ground. He was already sipping coffee when I walked in. "I heard," he said without even saying hello. "Sorry, man." I nodded. "Appreciate it. Listen, I think something else is going on." He leaned forward. "What do you mean?" "She's not just sorry because I left. She's freaking out. She showed up screaming like someone was chasing her." Sean paused, then exhaled slowly. "Okay. You didn't hear this from me." "What?" "She didn't just cheat on you, Ryan. She stole from you. A while back." "What do you mean?" "She told me she borrowed 20 grand from your joint savings while you were deployed. Gave it to her friend for a business idea. Turns out the guy gambled it away. I told her she was nuts. She said you'd never find out." I felt like the wind got knocked out of me. She didn't just betray me emotionally. She stole from me while I was serving. The betrayal ran deeper than I thought. And the worst part? She used my sacrifice, my trust, to fund her lover's addiction. I sat there in silence for a long time, staring at my coffee. Sean broke the quiet. "You gonna ruin her?" I looked up at him. "No." He blinked. "No, I'm going to make her ruin herself." I walked out of the diner with a whole new kind of energy. Cold, focused. Revenge wasn't enough anymore. I wanted justice. Not just for me, but for every soldier who came home to this kind of betrayal. For every person who gave their all and got spat on in return. First, I called the bank. With proof from Sean's messages confirming the unauthorized transaction while I was deployed, and a few digital receipts Madison left behind, I had all I needed to report it. The bank launched an investigation. That would take time, but I had no doubt she'd get slapped with fraud. Next, I reached out to a local veteran support network. I'd been quiet since coming home, but now I spoke up, volunteered, told my story anonymously, and warned others about keeping financial protections in place before deployment. I didn't name Madison directly, not yet, but people were listening. Then came the move that caught her completely off guard. I posted a house rental listing online. Our old house, the one she thought was still hers. I made sure to put the listing on every local platform, Facebook, Zillow, Craigslist. Caleb even helped me post signs in town. Beautiful 3-bed ranch home available for immediate lease. Fully owned. Clean title. Contact Ryan. I knew someone would see it. And someone did. The next morning, I got a furious text. Madison, what is this? You can't rent our house. Me, it's not our house. It's mine. You never paid the mortgage once. Madison, you're evil. Me, I was a soldier. Now I'm just smart. I blocked her number after that. But that wasn't the end. Because the guy she cheated with, he reached out to me. Through Instagram of all places. His name was Chase. Looked like a wannabe influencer. Shirtless selfies. Cheesy motivational quotes. And now a desperate message. Chase, hey man, can we talk? I almost ignored it. But curiosity got the better of me. Me, about what? Chase, about Madison. Me, you mean your girlfriend? Chase, not anymore. She's been using me. And I just found something you might want to know. That got my attention. We met in the park near my neighborhood. He looked like a mess. Eyes sunken, hoodie wrinkled, hands shaking. She told me you abandoned her. He started. I laughed. Really? Yeah, man. Said you ran off. Took all the money and left her behind. I shook my head. I was serving. Deployed. Fighting overseas. He looked ashamed. I didn't know. I swear. Why tell me this now? He reached into his bag and pulled out a small blue notebook. She has this. Keeps everything in it. Passwords. Bank info. Even notes about your accounts. I thought you should see it. I flipped through it, stunned. There were entries about me. When she planned to drain certain accounts. How she was going to move into a condo with Chase. A list titled, What I Deserve for Staying Loyal. She had planned everything. Except for me finding out. I took photos of every page, documented everything. Then gave the book back. Let Chase deal with his own storm. But now I had more than enough to take this to court if I wanted. Still, the biggest bombshell hadn't dropped yet. That night, as I was cleaning out some old boxes from storage, stuff I had kept from our marriage, I found an old envelope addressed to Madison. It was from the Department of Defense. Unopened. Curious, I opened it. And my jaw dropped. It was my military benefit check. A one-time payment for hardship deployment. $40,000. Sent while I was overseas. Meant for me. It was cashed. By her. That was it. I felt my hands go cold. My vision blurred for a second. She stole everything. Even that. That money was supposed to help me restart my life after service. And she cashed it. Forged my signature. Never told me. This wasn't just cheating. It was full-blown financial betrayal. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was done being quiet. And the payback? Oh, it had only just begun. I sat on the floor of that dusty storage unit for almost an hour, staring at the cash check notice with my name on it, but not my signature. My heart beat like a war drum in my chest. I felt everything at once. Betrayal, rage, heartbreak, and a fire deep in my gut that whispered one word. Finish it. She thought she was smart. She thought because I was gone, far away in a war zone, she could erase me from my own life. But I had fought harder enemies in worse places. Madison may have broken her vows, but I still had one more promise to keep, to myself. I packed up everything I needed, documents, photos, the notebook Chase gave me, and a copy of that stolen check. Then I drove straight to a lawyer's office, one that specialized in veterans affairs and fraud. The lawyer's name was Amanda Klein. She had sharp eyes, military background, and a reputation for handling messy cases with iron gloves. After I laid out all the evidence on her desk, she leaned back and gave me a long, quiet stare. She forged a government check, she said flatly. That alone could get her 5 years in federal prison. I nodded but didn't smile. Amanda tapped her pen. With the added theft from your joint account and the property lies, we could build a case that buries her. I don't want her buried, I said. I want her exposed. Publicly. Legally. Loud enough for everyone she manipulated to hear it. Amanda raised an eyebrow. You don't want money? No, I said. I want her to wish she could give it back. That day we began filing. Fraud. Forgery. Theft. and a full financial review of every account tied to my name from the last 2 years. But that wasn't all. I wasn't done. While Amanda worked the legal side, I focused on something more personal. Madison had a job, an HR coordinator at a mid-sized company downtown. She often bragged about how much they trusted her, how she handled sensitive employee data and payroll. She even used her work laptop at home. So I made a call. I contacted her employer's anonymous whistleblower line. "Hi," I said. "You should check your HR coordinator's use of work devices and access logs. I believe she's been conducting personal financial activity on company time using company resources. I have evidence she forged federal checks. You may want to take a look at her files." They asked for proof. I sent it. The notebook, the check image, screenshots from her shared drive, stuff Chase had shown me. Her sloppiness was her downfall. 3 days later, she was suspended from her job pending investigation. Her life was unraveling string by string, and just when I thought it couldn't get worse for her, it did. I received a call from Amanda. "We pulled her credit file," she said. "And her financials. Yeah, she's in debt. Big time. Credit cards maxed. Personal loan taken out in your name. We've confirmed it's forged." My hands tightened around the phone. "She used my name?" "Yes," Amanda said. "But here's the good news. With what we've found, we can get her charged. And the courts can freeze her accounts, garnish her wages, and force her to pay restitution. It won't fix everything, but it's justice." I stared out the window. Do it. And so we did. The next few weeks were a storm she never saw coming. Court summons, frozen accounts, termination from her job, and then the biggest blow yet, a federal investigation for cashing a government check fraudulently signed. Word spread fast. Her friends stopped talking to her. Her social media went dark. And then came the knock on her door, served personally by a court officer. She tried to reach me, of course. Voicemails, emails, even a handwritten letter left on my truck windshield. In the letter, she blamed everyone but herself. She said she was lonely, scared, pressured, that she didn't know what she was doing. But she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew when she signed that check. She knew when she wired money to her lover. She knew when she laughed in that bed with another man while I stood at the door like a ghost. And now, reality was knocking louder than I ever could. Still, there was one last thing left to do. You see, while I had stayed quiet, Madison had not. Months ago, before I returned, she had shared all kinds of private things online. Pity posts, stories painting herself as a war wife left behind, struggling financially while her soldier husband chose duty over family. One of those posts even went viral on a military spouses forum. She got donations, sympathy, even a few $1,000s from strangers on GoFundMe. Couldn't believe it. She faked being a victim for attention and cash. So I contacted the admins of that forum. I sent them the proof. Her boyfriend, the fraud, the charges, the open investigation, the backlash. It was brutal. Donors demanded refunds. The GoFundMe was frozen. She was banned from every military community online. And as if karma needed any more ammo, Chase messaged me again. He was done with her. She drained him, manipulated him, and now that the money dried up, she turned on him too. "She's trying to move in with her sister," he said. "But no one wants her, not even her parents." She was alone, just like I was when I walked into my home and saw her betrayal. Except I still had my honor, my friends, my purpose. She had lies, debt, and a criminal record. Still, I didn't feel joy. I didn't cheer or celebrate. Revenge doesn't always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it just feels like peace. That night, I stood outside my new apartment, a small but cozy place on the edge of town. Caleb brought a couple beers. We sat on the back porch, talking about everything and nothing. "You good?" he asked. I looked at the stars, thought about the journey. "Yeah," I said. "I'm good." But little did I know, the next morning I would receive a letter. Not from Madison, not from the courts, but from someone I had completely forgotten about. someone who held a key to one final twist in this story. And that twist was about to change everything. The morning air was cool as I stepped outside to grab my mail. Just the usual stack, some junk, a bill or two, and then a cream-colored envelope with no return address. My name was written neatly across the front in black ink. No stamp, hand-delivered. I turned it over and slowly opened it, curious and cautious. Inside was a single sheet of paper, typed, "Ryan, I know I don't deserve your time, but there's something you need to know. It's about Madison, about the check, about everything. I don't expect you to forgive her or me, but you should hear the truth. Not everything was what it seemed. Please meet me at the corner cafe on Maple Street, 10 a.m. Saturday. No tricks, just the truth. Lindsay, Madison's best friend. She used to come over all the time, helped plan our wedding, helped decorate the house. The last time I saw her was the night before my deployment. She'd hugged me, thanked me for my service, told me Madison would be okay. I believed her. Now here she was, resurfacing with a message cloaked in mystery and regret. Part of me wanted to tear up the note, to ignore it. I didn't need more lies, more drama. I had rebuilt my life brick by brick. But something about the letter stuck with me. The tone wasn't defensive or blaming. Sounded scared. I needed closure. So I went. Saturday morning, I parked across from the cafe. It was quiet. A small, local place with faded paint and dusty windows. I walked inside. Lindsay was already there. She looked different. Worn out. Hair in a messy bun. Dark circles under her eyes. Like she hadn't slept in days. "Ryan," she stood. "Thanks for coming." I didn't shake her hand. I just sat. "Talk," I said. She looked down, nervously fiddling with the corner of her napkin. "I should have come to you earlier. I should have said something the moment it happened. But I was scared of her. Scared she'd turn everyone against me. I said nothing. She started cheating on you 2 months after you deployed," she whispered. I begged her to stop. I told her she was making the biggest mistake of her life. "She didn't listen," I replied coldly. "No, but that's not all." Lindsay leaned in. "That check? The military hardship one? She didn't cash it herself." I froze. "What?" "She forged it, yes, but she didn't do it alone. Her mother helped her. She coached her on how to make it look real. Her mom used to work at a bank. She knew the process. They cashed it together, then split the money." I stared at Lindsay, disbelief flooding me. She never told me that. She never told anyone. But I found out because she bragged about it when she was drunk one night. Said you owed her for being gone so long. That she deserved compensation for the stress. I felt my fists clench under the table. "She also planned to disappear," Lindsay added. "Once you came back. She wanted to sell the house behind your back and leave the state with Chase. Start fresh. She had a fake apartment lease ready in Arizona. But Chase never followed through. He spent the money gambling, and she got stuck. And now?" I asked. "She's living in her mom's basement," Lindsay said. "They're both being investigated, and she's losing her mind." "But Ryan," she paused. "That's not why I called you." I looked at her, confused. "I called you because of something else. Something Madison hid even from Chase." She pulled a small folder from her purse and slid it across the table. "What's this?" "Read it." I opened it. Inside was a DNA test. I scanned the names. My eyes locked on one word, paternity 99.9%. And the child's name, Liam Peterson, age 4. What is this?" I breathed. "Her son," Lindsay said. "Your son." My heart slammed into my chest. "I don't have a son." "Yes, you do," she whispered. "She got pregnant before you deployed. She never told you. She said it would make things complicated. She said you'd force her to stay married, and she didn't want that. So she lied. Said it was Chase's. But it's not. It's yours." I couldn't speak. I felt like I'd been punched in the soul. She planned to raise him with Chase. But once Chase bailed, and the money ran out, she panicked. She started saying Liam was ruining her life. She doesn't even care for him the way a mother should. Tears blurred my eyes. She robbed me of being there, of knowing, of watching him take his first steps, hearing him call someone else dad. I know, Lindsay said, her voice breaking. I'm so sorry. I've already filed an affidavit. I'll testify in court if you want custody. I stood up, shaken. I need to see him. Lindsay reached into her purse and pulled out a picture. A little boy, big brown eyes, curly dark hair, holding a toy truck. He looked just like me when I was that age. I swallowed hard. He deserves better, I said. And I'm going to make sure he gets it. Lindsay nodded. I know you will. I left the cafe with the photo in my hand. Everything around me a blur. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. This was about restoration. About taking back everything she stole. Not just money, not just dignity, but family. I called Amanda again. I want full custody, I said. I want a paternity test ordered by the court. I want Liam protected. You got it, she said. But Ryan, this is going to get ugly. I looked at the photo again. Good, I replied. She won't see this coming either, because this time it wasn't just about what she did to me. It was about what she did to an innocent child. And no matter how long it took, how messy it got, I was ready to fight for my son, to the very end.